What's up everybody, and welcome back to the Fayze Reviews YouTube channel. My name is Jordan Nelson, and today on the review table I have the Yamay fitness tracker. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is a really cool full-featured fitness tracker that can be had for 30 bucks. And I was honestly so surprised at everything this could do for the price that I want to buy a ton of them for my wife and all my family members, because it really is surprising what you can get on Amazon for way less than a Fitbit and some of the other models. In this video, we're going to take a look at the packaging and what comes in the box, and I'll tell you all about the features and give you an up-close look at this fitness tracker and the app that it uses. And I'll also give you a little bit of my real-world experience, telling you how I've used this for daily activities and mountain biking, and finally tell you if I think you should pick up one of these for yourself, which if you can't already tell, like, the answer is yes, totally. But we're going to tell you more about this product today in this video. On this channel, I always start with the packaging, and I think that says a lot about a company, and people that subscribe already have heard me say this a million times, but if a company puts the effort into packaging their products well, it says a lot for how much they care about their product. So this, if you take a look at this, is this not something that you would probably see on the shelf at any major retail store? You've got QR codes on the back, you've got lists of all the colors, you've got the features on the side, nice full color glossy print here on the front, and the little magnetic closure flap. So this looks nice, and that makes me think good things about the company and the product. And so opening the magnetic flap up, they've got this kind of viewing window, and you'll notice the band is not in the center because I suck at repackaging this, and I couldn't remember how I had it packaged originally, but normally it came all pretty inside this little window inside the flap here. But let's stop looking at the box. Let's take a look at the actual fitness band itself. So pulling it out, there's not much that comes in here. All you've got is your user manual, and it's a full color with pictures, kind of pictorial manual here that covers all of the features. This is really helpful, and there's so many different menus in this thing that could be really overwhelming. We're going to go through those, but if you didn't have this video, this manual would be very helpful. Apart from the manual, there's just the band itself. So here's kind of an up-close look at it. All right. That's what it looks like. It comes on this silicone band, which is very comfy. And one of the things I like about this band is that it has a ton of adjustment holes there. So you can really dial in the fit that you want on this band, and it'll be super comfy. It's not gonna be too tight or too loose because there's so many different notches. You're gonna be able to find one that fits just right. And of course it has the little clasp here to keep the band on your wrist. So that's how it looks on the wrist. I love how slim this is as opposed to like the Apple Watch type watches that are square and wider. This is very slim, and I use this mostly when I'm mountain biking, and this is not too heavy or too cumbersome when I'm kind of barreling down a trail. Let me flip the camera around so I can give you an up-close look at the watch and the different menus that it has. All right, so let's take a look at the watch and the menus that it has. You'll notice that it's motion activated, so when I tip it up, it automatically turns on. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. You have to kind of really give the accelerometer a jolt to get it to turn on, but it's not too bad. Alternatively, you can just press the button to turn the screen on. So you can see there's one touch sensitive button right there at the bottom, and that's the only control you have on the watch itself. How you charge this thing, you'll notice that there's no charging port on here. You just remove, I believe it is this one, yeah, right here. You just remove this part of the band, and it's on there pretty tight. And then the USB charger is right there underneath the fitness tracker. So we can pop that back on because I don't need to charge it. It holds 7 days worth of charge, so that's something good to know. You can charge this up and use it for a whole week. I found that to be true. It definitely, maybe even longer than a week. I probably got 10 days out of this before I had to plug it in again. That would be dependent on how much you're using the different tracking features, but just kind of as a baseline pedometer and checking your heart rate, I easily got a week out of this. So let's push the button and get this turned on. You see you've got the time here as well as my steps. I've had this in a box all day, so 26 steps, not much going on there. Clicking that again, there is the time. You can change the format and kind of the background. You've also got your battery indicator up at the top. That's going to keep turning off. I have my settings to turn the screen off pretty quickly, as well as the date and the day of the week. Clicking the button one more time is going to take you to your pedometer, which shows your steps. One more time is going to take you to your heart rate, and let me put this on my wrist and kind of show you guys how the heart rate works. So I'll put that on there, and I'm not going to tighten the band on, but it's going to start measuring my heart rate. Give it a second, It's not the quickest thing in the world, but you know, it was 30 bucks, so what can you expect? 60, which I have measured this multiple times at different heart rates, and it is very, very much accurate. So I have a really low resting heart rate, and now it's gonna keep dipping because my arm is off of it. So measures your heart rate continuously while you're just being sedentary or while you're working out. It also has a blood pressure reading, which I would not trust the blood pressure reading on this. It was definitely varied. I don't even know how a device like this measures blood pressure. It claims that it's accurate up to 5%. If you need blood pressure monitoring, definitely invest in a better product than a $30 fitness tracker. Heart rate, no sweat. Blood pressure, I would go somewhere else. You can also select between walk, run, or bike, and you can modify these activities in the app. So if there's other activities you do more often, you can select which ones you can quick access through the band itself without having to open the app. So let's say I want to start a biking activity. I just press and hold this, and it will count down. And now it will track my heart rate continuously as well as the time that I'm doing the activity. So let's say I want to bike for an hour and see, you know, how far I went or what my BPM was, my heart rate was during the activity. It will track that continuously. And then when you're done with your activity, you just hold this again. And it will say short training session, not save. So if you train for at least, I think 3 minutes, it will save your data to the app so that you can look at your heart rate over the course of your workout as well as the total time. All right, clicking it one more time takes us back to the main section. And that's pretty much the extent of the watch itself. There's the tracker for the heart rate and the blood pressure. You saw where the charging port was. Now let's take a look at the app itself because it's really full featured. All right, so let's open up the app here. It's called Very Fit Pro. And normally these apps that come with these Chinese, no-name, lower-end products are not very well done. This app is surprisingly well done. It's got a lot going on here, and it looks like it was professionally designed. So this is the app. In the center, you've got your number of steps as well as your target and how much of your target you've met. I promise you I'm more active than this today. I just have not had the band on. At the bottom, it'll tell you how many calories you burn, which is based off of your weight and other parameters that you input, how far you've gone, and you can put in your stride length to determine the distance. And if you do a specific activity like biking or walking or running, you can time it and it will tell you how long you've had that activity going for. It'll also track your sleep if you choose to wear it while you're sleeping, and it'll give you stats such as deep sleep or light sleep or number of hours awake. And then you can see your heart rate as a function of the day as well as what it currently is right here. I don't have it on my wrist at the moment, so there is no heart rate data. Details, which would give you your data across a week. So as you use the band, it will show you number of steps, for example, and it'll tell you how far you've walked for the week, the number of steps for the total week cumulatively, the calories for the week, and other stats over a longer period. You can also go up to the calendar here and change it to month or year, or this week. On the device setting, you can do things such as select the call alert, whether or not you're alerted for calls, whether or not you're alerted if you've been sedentary for too long, alerted for alarms, and alerted for, that should be SMS, but it says SNS. I guess the app isn't perfect, but it can alert you if you have a text or if you get a notification from social media. You can also use the fitness tracker as a trigger for a camera, so you can trigger your camera app to take photos. It can detect. You can change whether you manually detect your heart rate or it automatically does it continuously. There's even more settings in this further menu, such as what your display looks like, what the dial clock setting looks like, the language you have it in, 12 or 24 hour, length of your steps, heart rate zones, the brightness of the bracelet, non-disturb mode or do not disturb, and you can also reboot the device if you're having problems. And then on user, you have your personal data, so you can put your targets in, your goals, as well as your personal height and weight so that it can track your fitness more accurately. This little plus here at the bottom allows you to enter a variety of different modes, such as route tracking. So this one, you can select an activity. It's on bike right now, but you can select a different activity. And once you hit play, it will start tracking your location through the phone's GPS. So this is really handy. Like when I go mountain biking, I can see which trails I've ridden and get a total distance for my bike ride. You can also start an activity without route tracking. This will just track, again, your total time and your heart rate. You can also put in your weight, so you can keep track of your weight loss or gain. And finally, you can do a blood pressure test and calibrate the blood pressure to your wrist. Again, I don't think the blood pressure is the standout feature of this, but if you do want to try and calibrate it, you can do it through there. One downside to this fitness tracker is that you cannot turn it off. If I had to pick something to upgrade on this, it would be that. Sometimes I don't want to track it. I just want to be able to save it for the weekend when I'm biking. I honestly wear other watches throughout the week, so I'm not using this daily like some people, and I wish you could just turn it off, and you can't. You just have to let the battery run out or just keep it charged. So that's definitely something I think they could implement in the future. It could probably just be a firmware update, you know, holding the button down to turn it off or something like that. I would love to see that in future versions. All in all though, for the price, an absolute steal. $30 to track your route while you're out doing activities, your heart rate constantly, distance, steps. I'm surprised you can get all of that for $30. So if you want to grab one of these, there'll be a link down in the description. Buy through there, support the channel. I'd love you for it. And if you like the content, consider becoming a subscriber, sharing a comment down below, and giving this video a like. It helps the channel grow, and I would love you for it. And I want to keep bringing you guys awesome reviews. There's so many great products on Amazon, and sometimes it's hard to know how they actually perform in real life. So my goal with this channel is to test them out and tell you if they're worth the price. In the case of the Yamay fitness tracker, it definitely is. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.